the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders, and a family's pursuit of justice. Lori Farmer, 8, Michele Guse, 9, and Denise Milner, 10, were killed on their first night at Girl Scout camp in 1977. It was supposed to be 2 weeks of fun for more than 100 Girl Scouts who arrived at Camp Scott, near Locust Grove, Oklahoma, on June 12, 1977. But, sometime in the darkness of that night, an intruder entered through the back of a tent, killing and sexually assaulting 3 girls, Lori Farmer, 8, Michele Guse, 9, and Denise Milner, 10. Their strangled and mutilated bodies were left under a tree about 100 yards from their tent. Law enforcement scoured the wooded area looking for clues. Near the bodies, investigators found a red plastic flashlight with a piece of a garbage bag taped over the lens. A newspaper was stuffed inside to keep the batteries from rattling. Just days later, after a tip from local squirrel hunters, officers descended on a nearby cave, where they found a roll of masking tape with a piece of plastic stuck to it that matched tape found on the flashlight at the crime scene. They examined the roll of masking tape in the newspaper, and both of the fractures match perfectly with evidence found on the flashlight, Mays County Sheriff Mike Reed says in the 2-hour premiere of the 7th season of People magazine Investigates. The episode, titled Girl Scout Murders, airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ID and streams on Max. But, it wasn't until a prison employee recognized 2 wedding photographs also found at the cave and later broadcast on the nightly news that police believed they had their suspect, fugitive and convicted rapist Jean Leroy Hart. Police learned that Hart had developed the photos as part of a prison work program years earlier. After a 10-month manhunt, one of the largest in Oklahoma history, Hart was captured at a cabin in the Cookson Hills on April 6, 1978. During the trial the following year, Hart's defense attorneys claimed he was framed and questioned how the black and white wedding photos ended up in the cave because Hart allegedly left them behind after he escaped. Our take from that was the evidence had been planted, says Hart's defense attorney Gary Pitchlin. After more than 7 days of testimony, Hart was acquitted of the murders to the disappointment of the family of the 3 girls. Lori's mother Sherry Farmer still remembers the day the verdict was read. "We stopped by the cemetery," she says. "I promised Lori we would continue searching for justice, and we would do something positive in her memory." Sent back to prison to continue his sentence, Hart died 2 months later of a heart attack in the exercise yard. In the years following the murders, new theories and suspects emerged. In one instance, a woman came forward alleging that her brother and his 2 friends killed the girls. Police looked into the claims but ruled them out. In 1989, the FBI tested a semen stain found on a pillowcase inside Michele's sleeping bag that was a partial match to Hart. However, it would be another 20 years before the next development in the case occurred, when more sophisticated DNA testing was done. Although the results were inconclusive, they could eliminate other suspects but not Hart. It was enough to convince Reed that Hart committed the murders. "Everything I look at still points to Jean Hart," he says. "And I don't have a single other thing pointing to somebody else. But the case is still open." After the murders, Camp Scott was shut down. In 1988, the Girl Scout Council sold the property, and today it's a hunting ground. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and make it a success. Thank you for watching.